Hey, how's everybody doing? I got, excuse me, I got asked a question the other day by a friend of mine, and she asked me, why did you choose to live in a van? Or why did you choose to live in your van? And I had to think about it because, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is, the way the world is and the way that things are changing and all that kind of stuff. Things have gotten pretty, crazy, I guess you'd say. Like, people are like, I don't know, the tiny home movement is big. People are doing the van conversions, converting school buses and fixing up motorhomes. I have one of those too. But I guess a lot of what pushed me to do it, a little backstory is, had some personal issues come up, and the right decision for me at the time was to distance myself. So I took it upon myself to kind of evaluate a situation, and initially was really pissed off, right? Was really pissed off. And so ultimately, what I came up with was I was going to move into my van. Now, mind you, when I did it, the van wasn't set up for living yet. It was very, quote unquote, substandard as far as insulation. A lot of stuff was wrong with it. Now, keep in mind, when I first bought the van, it had a conversion kit done on it. Excuse me, God, my throat's kind of scratchy today. But I had a conversion kit. So originally, this particular van I own two of those. Started out as a cargo van in 2000 from GMC. And it then got converted to a conversion van by Explorer Conversion Vans. They did a shitty job, by the way. Took me a long time to figure out how bad they gutted this thing and chopped it up. And so when I gutted it, a lot of people know this story going into this, but this thing had a TV in it that was visible from the back, second row seating and the third row seating in the back. That actually there was a lot going on in this van. There was a fucking VCR in here. There was a Nintendo 64. There was an external Blaupunkt CD player in the back. As I took it apart, it was listed at upgraded sound system. Now, it's got the stock deck in it, and it had the stock paper speakers in it, in the doors. The back ones were stock speakers too, but when they redid the grills and the speakers in the back and remade the door panels, they actually drilled through the speaker faces. Oddly enough, it didn't sound bad, which was weird. But anyway, so, as time progresses, I'm kind of handy with a wrench, and I mean, there's a lot of things I don't know. I mean, I'm not great. I'm not a great mechanic. I'll be the first one to tell you that. But I needed to clean up the wiring, add sound deadener throughout, add some body panels, replace some body panels, do a lot. I removed all of the stock seam sealer from the factory. It was done really sloppy, so I took all that out too, and I cleaned all of that up, and then I went back through with caulking, and I did my own seam sealer, and I made it look really clean. And there's still the holes in it from when they drilled the holes in the floor to mount the seats and whatnot. But I'm turning it back into a conversion, so we have a cargo. So we have space. I have two dogs, two pit bulls, Thor and Angel. The last two of my pit bull rescue that I ran for a lot of years. And ultimately, I slowly but surely got it taken care of. None of the power outlets worked, so I was unable to charge my phone back then. I didn't have a cell phone back then. Things were pretty questionable back then, and it's kind of, and it was kind of sketchy, but again, we got through it, and it was cool, and things kind of I guess for the most part, improved substantially. So I was able to do some of the things to it that I wanted to do, needed to do, whatever. And I'm having a hard time with this. So I'm trying to make sure that my phone charger's on here. Yeah, you can't really, I don't know, you can't really mess with your phone charger while you're holding. So I guess I'm just going to hold this damn thing. Anyhow, so yeah, why I ended up moving into my van wasn't necessarily a choice at that particular moment. It was more of a lack of options. And I was in the wrong headspace. Now, when you're getting ready to do this and you want to live in your van, you have to really have your head right, because it's not a conventional, nor is it a normal living environment. Normally, people are used to living in apartments, houses, condos, what have you. Not too many people are ready for van life. You know, there's a lot of things you have to consider. Laundry, where you go to the bathroom, all that type of stuff. And as things get a little bit, as you get a little more used to it, you start getting used to street life and things like that. Now, let's be clear. Being homeless is one thing. Being a pig is a total another thing. So there's a lot of people out there that do what I'm doing, and they leave their trash where they go. They leave problems where they go, dog shit, whatever it might be. We don't do that. I have some respect for myself and respect for myself as a pit bull owner. And I think that there's better ways to conduct yourself when you're out there in the world living in your van. You know, the big selling point for living in my vehicle, my van, no rent, no utilities. Now, with the way that the world's working, with gas prices crazy and rents astronomical and all this stuff, another little backstory. Got no wife, got no kids that I know of. And I also don't have a girlfriend, that kind of thing. So all the stuff that normally most people would have, I don't have any of that stuff. And a lot of those things are by choice. Now, when you don't have those type of bills and you don't have to live in reality, you can afford to do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it. And that's what I try to do. So again, I really, really, really like it. And I gotten to the point now that I'm 49 years old. My point and my points of concern are a lot different now, and things that you need to survive are not what they used to be. A lot of people think you have to have the nice house and you have to have all this stuff. Now, in this day and age, what you do find out, if you know about, if the prices kicked your ass and it knocked you down to nothing and you went broke trying to afford rent that you couldn't have, if you're by yourself, you're alone, whatever you might be, if you're all alone and you're not doing the van life, you're fucking up. And I mean, and I pardon the expression, but it is true. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. I mean, there's so many ways you can adapt to this lifestyle. And again, home is where you park it. You see my hashtag, and it's out there all over social media, whatever. People use that hashtag a lot. And it's funny living in a van down by the river, and we do have a river here in Santa Maria. It doesn't have any fucking water in it, but there's a river, riverbed. So as you get more used to it and things progress, you figure out where you can park, and you figure out, in this day and age, so many people are doing it. And I truly believe that if you're not causing a problem and you're staying to your own and you're not leaving trash, you're not being a total shitbag about things, most of the police are pretty lenient on it. And mind you, they're out there dealing with some of these boo-boos out there that are being idiots, you know, the druggies and whatnot. And, you know, I mean, I smoke a little pot and I might drink a little beer here and there, but for the most part, I am definitely not the person I used to be. We'll leave that story for another day. But a lot of things are different when you live in your van. You get used to what sounds and what things go bump in the night and that kind of stuff. You listen to, you get used to traffic sounds. Maybe you might hear people arguing. But I've gotten really used to the quietness, the quiet of it, and the singular of it. And I entertain myself. Me and my dogs, we spend a lot of time together. We go for walks. We go here. We go there. Still got a lot of work to do on the van, so can't go too many places. But for the most part, I have a lot of ambition to build both my vans as well as my motorhome. Heavy Dog is my motorhome, 82 Winnebago Brave, super badass. I like it a lot. People think it's kind of quirky, but I dig it. Junkyard Dog, 1988 Chevy G10 van. It's not the short, it's the, I guess they're calling it the regular wheelbase, so I guess it's the regular one. But it seems like it's a long wheelbase to me. I've always kind of wondered about that one. And then I've got Little Dog, which is a 2000 GMC Safari all-wheel drive. I'm a vanner, president of my van club, Vandals VC. That's another story in itself, how I even got into this club. But what I did figure out over the course of time is that kind of wanted to do my own thing, so I kind of had my own logo created. Vaughn Butch did an incredible job on our club logo. Support stickers and things like that are coming soon, because I'm going to try to rustle up a little bit of fundage on this deal so I can figure out what my next move is going to be as a president of this club. We've got a couple of prospective members out there. I've got a vice president, and that's cool. You know, we started off pretty big, but I was very reckless about trying to increase my numbers. So I significantly decreased the numbers, and I'm on the rebuild. That's a whole other story. But again, living in your van, why did I choose to live in my van? What made me do it? And it was not really a choice like everything else in my life. It was more or less a lack of options. But I learned to not get down on myself about stuff, because no matter how down you get, it's all about your attitude, man. Attitude is everything. And I've made a lot of mistakes along the way, and I've learned a lot along the way, and I've grown a lot along the way. Don't want to grow up too much, though, because that defines you. That defines you in age. And I'm 49, but I probably act like I'm 23. But yeah, maybe some of you guys out there can relate. There's all kinds of van people out there. A lot of people are doing it. Some people there's two people in one van. That's kind of a trip to me. Some of the vans they chose to live in are kind of smaller ones, but I think ultimately, if you really want to do it, you can find a way to make it work. You can make it, you can exist on it, with it, in it. You know, barbecues, whatever you might want to do. It's a whole different kind of deal, man, you know? And I think that for the most part, people don't really realize, you know, what they've got till they lose everything. And I was on top of the world there for a little while, and brick by brick, piece by piece, my playhouse was torn to the ground, and I found out that the basement's got a basement, and that's a trip too. I mean, you learn a lot. You can sit there and go, woe is me, and you can focus all negatively on the stuff, and you know, but attitude reflects leadership. I stole that from what was that movie? Oh shit. It was a football movie about little kids, and I can't remember what the hell it's called now. That's crazy that I don't remember. One of my favorite movies. Anyway, but attitude reflects leadership. And I definitely had to learn a lot about vanning, van life, and all that stuff too. And I'm learning more and more every day, but I don't regret any of it. It's a great decision. The peace and quiet is very calming. It's very, it's just really, it was a good move for me. And a lot of people don't realize how I can do this. And I'm like, well, no. And it doesn't matter if you don't understand it or not. It was the best move for me. So that's why I did it. And I really, 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 really am flourishing in this area. And mind you, I've got a long way to go, but I love every minute of it. I've been having a great time. So if any of you know us out there, if you've seen us out there, stop by, say hi, whatever, you know. We got it pretty set up back here. It's not the best, but it's way better than it ever was. There used to be all kinds of electrical back there, and all kinds of it was in really bad shape back there, I got to tell you. And it's come a long way. I've done a lot to this thing, and this thing was in really bad shape when I got it. It's in a lot better shape now, but it's still got a long way to go. Now, I am going to try to keep these things to about 15-minute spurts so people don't get bored with me, and I've got about, 30 seconds to go, 20 seconds. And I want to just take this time to introduce myself. My name is Clifton Wayne, Vandals VC president, based out of Orchid, California. Living the van life, doing my thing, Give it a try. If you have any questions, hit me up. I'll be happy to walk you through it and give you some pointers or tips. Have a good night, y'all. Later.